My parents are migrants to this country. My father came to this country as a bracero in 1947 at the age of 17, decided that Gridley was where he wanted to make a home. So I'm the youngest of 7.
I moved to Gridley to teach at Gridley High School, and Arnoldo was one of the first students who came in to see me and wanted to get some help with writing. He took to help and being educated very easily. I think he always knew what he was going to do.
You know, I had the opportunity to meet Arnoldo when he was first appointed to the Board of Governors, and although I didn't know much about him, it was pretty quickly evident to me that this young man is an impressive individual with a tremendous background and a great deal of passion for higher education.
I went to Gridley High School, where I was able to dual enroll at Butte College at the same time. I started Butte College really my freshman year.
A good example of his drive maybe had to do with the fact that taking classes at the high school was not enough for him. He always needed more, and that's where he found a way to do that at Butte College. He comes from a working background, and it was not an easy kind of work that his folks did, and for him that was only a beginning, and I think a motivation to be as good as he could be, because that's what they hoped for, and maybe that's what they expected.
I was exposed to college education very early in life through my parents. Although they didn't have formal education, they believed in the concept of getting a 4-year degree. The fact that I was exposed to a community college such as Butte allowed me to actually get a better perspective on what higher education meant. So I did attend Berkeley, and it was a challenge. And having college credit exposure at Butte helped me take on the tough courses and take on the tough experience.
You know, he went on to Berkeley, he went on to Harvard and JFK School of Public Policy.
And I applied for a public policy program at Harvard and at Princeton, and I was able to be accepted at both. Decided that Harvard was probably a better fit for me, so I went to the John F. Kennedy School of Public Policy at Harvard. And my first job out of Harvard was to actually work for the Environmental Protection Agency in San Francisco. I was working for Anderson Consulting. From there, I was exposed to the whole tech industry in the Silicon Valley. In 1999, I started working for Cisco. From Cisco, I was able to switch careers a bit and focus on the area of compensation, where I worked for Google.
He worked in the private sector, Cisco and Google, and then ended up at this really pretty much unknown small company called Facebook.
And then Facebook in 2008 came to me and asked me if I wanted to start the compensation department at Facebook. I was the first person hired to start this department. You know, I spent 5 years there at Facebook, took it from a 400-person company to a 5,000-person world-renowned company.
Being appointed to the Board of Governors of California's community colleges is a tremendous honor, and certainly one that involves a great deal of careful scrutiny and selective attributes based on the governor's office, and ultimately undergo a confirmation process by the California Senate.
So I was appointed by Governor Brown in 2014. It's a big honor to be a part of this board. It's an opportunity for me to continue my concept of giving, but in my involvement in academics and education, because that's the core. And education is the biggest equalizer, has been in my life. It's taken me from a farm worker kid from Gridley, California, to a person who now is a philanthropist, a person who now owns companies, a person who sits on a community board. It's my opportunity to give back.
He's the kind of young man who always, when you engage him, is always wanting to know more, and is always, I think, reacting to and imagining and thinking beyond what's happening now.
I've never seen a Board of Governor member attend as many of our colleges as Arnoldo has during his tenure on the board. He has probably visited 20 or 30 of our colleges even in his short tenure. He's really serious about finding out about our colleges and what their needs are, but more importantly, he's very interested in the needs of our students. And so what we've seen in him as a board member already is a real attention to anything that impacts our students, especially those who are economically and educationally disadvantaged.
And to me, 2 objectives I have as being part of this board is, one, I'd love to see student outcomes, to improve that. Secondly is, how do we engage the community college system to make sure that we work together to help students achieve their dreams.
And he's always wanting to do more, and I think the thing that has impressed me the most about him is that he, in his foundation, has reached out to students who need some support with scholarship money and mentoring, and has followed through with, you know, putting his money where his ideas are.
What my wife and I are doing in terms of, you know, supporting students through their educational careers, in a sense, is to give back to the community of the Upper Sacramento Valley. You know, that's why we started the Avalos Foundation in 2012, to really invest our own money into students. Our role is basically to help students from the Upper Sacramento Valley, high-achieving, low-income kids of all ethnicities, to help them get to UC, right, to graduate from UC.
It doesn't surprise me that Butte College has, in its wisdom, selected Arnoldo Avalos as one of its distinguished alumni. And obviously, he's a wonderful representative for Butte College and someone that Butte College can be proud of.
If a teacher wanted someone to be as good as they can be and to turn out the best that they could be, you couldn't have done any better. A teacher couldn't have done any better than to have had him as a student.
Everything I've done in life is never to seek recognition in any which way. It's always a way of giving back to those professors, those teachers who believed in me as an individual. The reality is I stand on the shoulders of others. Obviously it starts at home with your parents, but it's, you know, the teachers, the coaches you have, and to be recognized to be a, you know, Butte College Alumnus of the Year is a big statement to me. You know, it feels good to say, you know what, this time you are being recognized because you are doing good in the larger community and you are helping others in the larger community, but also you're being a role model.